Hi everyone and welcome to the Syncretism Society Virtual Academy, and my name is Mehmet, and today's lesson is part 3 of learning the Astrological Decans. If you haven't already watched part 1 and 2, I suggest you do so. What we covered in the first 2 parts was we looked at what a decan is and the mathematical equation of the decan, and we explain how each sign has 3 decans and they're all split into 10 degrees each, and each one of those 10 degrees have a planetary ruler. And then we also talked about there's 2 different systems in relation to decans. You have the more traditional Chaldean system, which is based more on the planetary orbits and the order from longest to shortest. And then we also looked at the triplicity decan system, which is based more on the elements, and that is the system that I'm focusing more on in this series. And in part 2, we looked at the spring season, where we looked at the decans of Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. And in this video, we're going to be looking at summer, which will be Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. So without further ado, I'm going to jump straight into the slides, and I'm not going to do too much talking because I've explained that all in the first couple of videos. But what I'll do, I'm just going to put some slides up, do some reading, and then if I feel there's anything I need to add to what I've read from, I'll do so as we go along. So I'll share my screen and then we can jump straight into it. So Cancer decans. Cancer first decan is from June the 22nd to July the 1st, and it's from 0 degrees Cancer to 10 degrees Cancer, and the planetary ruler is the moon. So the first decan of Cancer is the fruitful Mother Earth decan. Women born in this decan tend to give an emotionally tangible impression. Both sexes seem very authentic in character while also incredibly sensitive. Heart is the key word in their life and everything they do. They care and tend to the people close to them with unending energy and compassion, but demand great loyalty from friends and lovers alike, and very jealous. So Cancer, the second decan, from July the 2nd to July the 12th, from the degrees from 10 to 20, and is ruled by Pluto. Very deep feeling, seemingly bottomless, is typical for these second decan Cancers, with Scorpio doing some of the influencing. They are reserved and may act unapproachable to the degree that they seem almost devoid of emotion. The complete opposite is true. With a partner, they are very possessive, but incredibly giving and willing to sacrifice themselves. They have great instincts and make wonderful psychologists, counselors, and detectives. So obviously you can see, if any Cancers are watching this, for example, it just shows you how, because this is one thing why I think decans are really important, because a lot of people say, oh yeah, but if you're all Cancers, then you'd all be the same. But this is why understanding decans is good, because then you can see that each section of Cancer is ruled by a particular planet. So as we can see, the first one was ruled by the moon, which is a bit more motherly and emotional and a bit sensitive, whereas the second one, it seems a bit more darker and mysterious because it's ruled by Pluto. So the first Cancer will be a Cancer, but a person who has their sun in the second decan of Cancer will be a Cancer Scorpio, because the planetary ruler is Pluto. So like it said, this one might seem a bit more moody and a bit more not so motherly, but it doesn't mean that they're not like that, because ultimately any Cancer has that motherly vibe, because the whole of Cancer is ruled by the moon. But it's just that depending on which part of Cancer it's in and what degree, then that's when the variations come. So moving on to the third degree of Cancer, which is from July the 13th to July the 22nd, from the degrees of 20 to 30, and is ruled by Neptune. The Pisces decan of Cancer may be the most sensitive decan of all the 36 in the zodiac, as sensitive as the needs of others as they are regarding with their own feelings. They can truly be tireless helpers and nurses of their close environment. At the same time, the moodiness that typically strikes Cancer children is even more pronounced here, and their feelings change faster than clouds without any rational explanation. So, yeah, also, yeah, because like we know, Cancer is a water sign, and the planet of Neptune is very watery. Obviously, in mythology, Neptune is Poseidon, the water god. So again, it's just showing you the first and third decans of Cancer have a bit more of a watery, emotional, kind of sensitive vibe, whereas the second decan might come across a bit more moody and dark because Pluto being the second ruler of that decan. So what I'm going to do now is move on to the decans of Leo. Just bear with me for a moment. So Leo decans, first decan of Leo, from July the 23rd to August the 3rd, from the degrees of 0 to 10, and the planetary ruler is the sun. So big Leo sun, number one. At least that's how many of these first decan Leos see themselves. Yes, there are tons of Leos with humility and detachment, but we are concerned with the majority. These folks are naturally self-reliant and have a sort of warm, satisfied presence. On the other hand, they have sensitive hearts and egos and are completely dependent on the approval of others. Leo second decan, August the 2nd to August the 12th, from the degrees of 10 to 20, and is ruled by Jupiter. These second decan Leos can be quite traditional and conservative, at least when it comes to the values and beliefs. They tend to respect religion and academia and have great spiritual yearning for discovery and knowledge. Here is a sense of having a Midas touch, for Jupiter brings back luck and zeal to the prominence of the Leo sun. These people can be gamblers in the real sense of the word, risk takers in every moment. Well, yeah, that makes sense because anyone who knows about astrology and about Sagittarians, they're very associated with gambling. And so this is why it's connecting Leos who are born in the second decan to be gamblers, because the planetary ruler is Jupiter, which people who are born in the second decan of Leo are Leo Sagittarians. So the first decan would be a Leo Leo, the second decan would be a Leo Sagittarius, and the third decan would be a Leo Aries, which I'm going to get to anyway. So again, this Leo up here, from understanding the description, is a bit more of a self-centered Leo, whereas Leo in the second decan is like says a bit more traditional and a bit more spiritual, and yeah, likes taking risks. So the third decan of Leo, August the 13th to August the 23rd, from the degrees of 20 to 30, ruled by Mars. The third Aries decan of Leo, with the rays from Mars, is one of the most ambitious and chivalrous of all decans. Sometimes these people will drive others crazy through their self-simple righteousness and stubborn refusal to admit a mistake. But they are typically heart of gold characters, intent on playing their cards face up and being frank and honest with the world. There is a real drive in these people, wherever obvious or hidden within, and their sheer optimism can carry them through difficult times. So yeah, the third decan of Leo is ruled by Mars. So again, we have yeah, these are three different types of Leos depending on where your sun is. And not necessarily just your sun, you can have other planets also in these decans as well. So they will also correspond with, so for example, if you've got the moon in the second decan of Leo, that would combine Jupiter and the moon, and that would make its own unique vibe or feel. So yeah, so the first decan Leo is a typical Leo, I would say. The second decan Leo is a bit more of a, yeah, like a traditionalist, maybe a bit more yeah, in touch with tradition, but again, still likes to take risks and likes to be out there. And then the third Leo decan is a bit more of a, you might say, a pain in the ass or an energetic one, very childlike, but has the intentions, like it says, their hearts are very, have a lot of gold in them, meaning that they're very hearty, but they just have this kind of childlike behavior. Because obviously Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, so typically people kind of tend to label Aries like the spoiled child of the zodiac, or this childlike, because they're the first ones, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's the three separate decans of Leo. So what I'm going to now do is move on to the third and final sign of the summer season, which is Virgo. So first decan of Virgo is from the 24th of August to September the 3rd, from 0 degrees to 10 degrees, ruled by the planet Mercury. So the first Mercury decan of Virgo is the best example of an extremely varied Virgo type that seems to lack any clear uniting principle. First decan Virgos tend to be unassuming, yet they are constantly talking and bragging. They tend to be fussy and orderly, yet many turns these ideas around by their bohemian exterior and messy homes. Virgo second decan, from September the 4th to September the 13th, from 10 degrees to 20 degrees, and is ruled by Saturn. Second decan Virgos are usually quite materialistic without a great desire for luxury. Security is at the forge, and they have great organization and generation and general money-making ability, and they don't spend their money recklessly. They are responsible, tactful, and great administrators of the affairs of men, but can become quite one-sided and lacking in perspective. While Saturn betters the ability to see the big picture and strengthens the sense of ambition, it also lessens the flexibility and adaptability. So I guess these would be the Virgos that everyone talks about being clean freaks and having the OCD, and because that's a very, very big stereotype attached to Virgo. They're very organized and very fussy, and I guess that makes sense with Saturn being the ruler of this decan, because obviously Saturn is about boundaries and structures and foundation, because this second decan is a Virgo Capricorn, so it's about being organized. Anything with Saturn is about structure and organization, but also, like it says here, because of this structure and organization, it might keep them a bit closed-minded to particular things. It's either their way or the highway, if that makes sense. So each decan has its positive and negative aspect, depending on its planetary ruler. And that's the same, I always say that with planets or signs, like I notice, because I'm in a lot of like astrological groups, I see on Facebook and on social media, I see that Geminis and Scorpios get a lot of hate. But personally, you can't judge a sign as a whole. You can, like, generally each sign has its themes, but on an individual basis, you have to look at the person's chart. Like in my case, for example, I'm a Scorpio sun, and I have two other planets in Scorpio, but most of my planets are in Sagittarius. So I could tell someone I'm a Scorpio and they might judge me a particular way, but I might not necessarily behave or act in the way that they're thinking, or that typical stereotype of a Scorpio. So surely I have those stereotypes because I am a Scorpio sun. But it's always important to look at the chart, the decan, your rising sign, your moon sign, which house. It's quite a big equation. But obviously what I'm doing with these is just giving you guys the key. So then you can then go and adapt this, or like kind of join this up with your own personal chart. So Virgo, the third decan, September the 14th to September the 22nd, ruled by Venus. Many third decan Virgos have downplayed but a considerable artistic sensitivity, especially when it comes to materials, shapes, color, and form. Perhaps they are amateur painters or professionals or skilled musicians, steadily building a technical mastery of their instrument. They are slow burners and learners, steady, quiet, and reserved, and usually don't talk unless they feel it is important. They are great dressers and have generally fine sense of style. So obviously, reason why the planetary ruler is Venus in the third decan of Virgo, because this Virgo would be a Virgo Taurus. So I just want to go back through each sign and give you, just to kind of refresh you guys' memory on why one's a Virgo and why one's a Virgo Capricorn and why one's a Virgo Taurus. And I'll just go through each one. So I'm going to go back and start from Cancer. So Cancer, if you're born in the first decan of Cancer, you'll be a Cancer, which your planetary ruler would be the moon. If you're born in the second decan of Cancer, you'll be a Cancer Scorpio ruled by Pluto. And then if you're born in the third decan of Cancer, you'll be a Cancer Pisces ruled by Neptune. So what it does is basically the first decan of each sign connects with the same planetary ruler of the sign and the same sign. So anyone born in the first 10 degrees of any sign will be a double of that sign. So if you're born in the first 10 degrees of Aries, you'll be an Aries, or whatever sign it is. If you're born in Sagittarius, first 10 degrees, you'll be a Sagittarius. But then the way it works with the next two decans, it correlates with the next two signs of the same element. So like I said, first decan is Cancer. Second decan is Cancer Scorpio, because Scorpio is a water sign. And then the third decan of Cancer is a Cancer Pisces, which Pisces is also a water sign. So that's how the decans and the planetary rulers are attached to the decans in relation to the other signs with the same element. I hope I make that clear. I'm not too confusing. So yeah, the first decan of Leo is a Leo. The second decan of Leo is a Leo Sagittarius. And then the third decan of Leo is a Leo Aries. And then finally, the first decan of Virgo is a Virgo. The second decan of Virgo is a Virgo Capricorn. And then the third decan of Virgo is a Virgo Taurus. So I'll stop sharing my screen. I hope you guys enjoyed that video and I hope I made it clear. Like I always say to any of the viewers and listeners, if you have any questions and I don't make anything clear, always feel free to message me on the inbox via the Syncretism Society and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So yeah, I'll catch you in the next Astrological Decan lesson, which will be the decans of the autumn signs of Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. Peace, love, and blessings. I'm out.